Beef jerky is the ultimate meat snack, and this sweet and spicy recipe is way better than anything you'll buy in the store. Our first step in making beef jerky is preparing a marinade. Today I'll be using 2 cups of Dr. Pepper. Pour this into a pot on your stovetop. Add 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of coarse black pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and 3 diced jalapenos. Bring the marinade to a boil while stirring in the seasonings to make sure that they don't stick to the bottom of the pot and get evenly distributed. Once the marinade is boiling, reduce the heat to medium and let simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it looks about half of what you started with. Let the marinade come to room temp while we put our meat in the freezer.
Blue 42, set, hut.
Touchdown!
To chill for about 1 hour. After 1 hour, the meat is chilled and easier to slice. Next step is to trim the fat off of your meat. Any lean cut will do. I chose the eye of the round. Excess fat on our jerky can go rancid and not dehydrate well. Once all this fat is removed, we will slice the eye of the round against the grain for a more tender bite. We are aiming for about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch or 3 mil to 7 mil if you have a meat processor. If you can get this pre-sliced at your butcher, this will save you a lot of time. Let them know you're making jerky and they should be able to take care of you. For this recipe, we're using a little over 1.5 pounds of meat. If you're slicing the meat yourself, this is about how thick it should be. If you look at this piece, it is a bit uneven, so I'm going to use my meat hammers to smash it down a little bit to make it more even. Once your marinade is room temp or cooled enough to not poach the meat, we will dip each piece of meat into the marinade to ensure it gets fully covered. Then we'll place each piece into a gallon-sized bag until it's all coated, then we're going to dump the remaining liquid into the bag. Make sure to give it a nice shake and marinate this anywhere from 4 to 12 hours or overnight. Jerky needs to be cooked at a low temp, so I'm using the extreme smoke setting, which runs at 180 degrees. Take the rack out of your smoker before it gets too hot. The goal is to fully dehydrate the meat. So while your smoker is getting up to temp, let's pat dry our meat. All the flavor is soaked into the meat, so we're not losing anything by drying off the excess liquid. Once the meat is dried off and the smoker is up to temp, we're gonna fill up our rack with jerky. If you've been around barbecue long enough, you know that the lid of your smoker needs to stay shut while your smoker is running, or it will let out all the heat and mess with your fire. I took my rack out earlier for this reason. As you see, it takes a little while to fill it up with all your jerky.
What's up, you guys? Today we are making this beef jerky. I am so excited to be making a video today. I made this recipe last week and it turned out absolutely amazing. I wanted to share it with you guys. This is actually a copycat recipe from Hey Girl Hey. I found her beef jerky recipe when I wanted to make one, so shout out to her. However, I am going to tweak up this recipe just a little bit. When I made this recipe last week, it had an amazing sweet and spicy flavor. However, I thought it lacked a little bit of that saltiness that I really love when I make beef jerky. And I think the reasoning for that is because this doesn't have any soy sauce, which most beef jerky recipes you include soy sauce in them. I think that's what adds all that sodium. So today I'm going to be using some Lawry's seasoned salt. I'm just going to go ahead, open this bad boy up. Now I'm just going to get a nice dusting across the top of this. It's going to add a really nice salty flavor, but also it's going to add in a lot of other flavor too, because it has some other seasonings and spices in there. Now that I got a really good coat of this Lawry's on there, I'm going to open my pit and get it on there. We're going to, oh boy, I can't even get it. Can't even get it. All right, here we go. We're gonna come out in 1 hour.
After 1 hour, we will open up our lid to let any moisture out of the cooking chamber. We're also going to inspect our jerky pieces to see if any of the outside pieces are cooking too fast. If you see any cooking faster than others, move them around to ensure even cooking. I'll see you guys back at the 3-hour mark. After 3 hours, some of our jerky is done. As you can see, when I bend the meat, you see little white strands running through the jerky. This is an indicator that it is done. This piece is not showing the same signs, so it needs to smoke for a while longer. You can see it still looks meaty, especially when you compare it to this one. This is how it should look right here. All of my jerky is off of the smoker now. About 1/3 of the jerky was done at the 3-hour mark. However, the other 2/3 needed about another hour to an hour and a half to be fully cooked. When I take my beef jerky off of the smoker, I put them in a bag like this and I leave it open about halfway to allow some of the steam out, while the steam that remains in the bag helps the beef jerky from becoming too leathery and dry. So now the only thing left to do is enjoy our jerky. This beef jerky looks delicious. So let's dig in. Look at that. Wow. So the first thing that I noticed when I eat this beef jerky is the sodium content. Adding that Lawry's hit the spot. It has enough sodium to get your mouth just really watery, but not overpowering like most beef jerky. And then there's a great balance of that sweet richness that comes from the Dr. Pepper, and then that very earthy, spicy flavor that comes from the jalapenos, especially the pieces that have the peppercorn. Maybe they're not peppercorns or jalapeno seeds, but whatever. Normally I would end my video right here, but we are not done yet. I'm doing a comparison. Jack Links, I'm giving you a run for your money. Let's go ahead and see what you're all about. Whoops.
First off, I noticed the smell, super great when you open these bad boys up. I mean, hey, I'm no hater to Jack Links, but I definitely think mine has more flavor, and I'm not lying. Jack Links is more tender. Mine is a little bit more crunchy, chewy. This has that very soft texture. If you wanted to achieve something like that very soft texture, you would need to let the bag steam. You can fully close it for a few minutes. I personally, when I eat jerky, I love to have that tough, that bite when you start to chew. It lets all your saliva out, your taste buds just come alive. But I'm not mad at this either. This is actually really good. It says it's supposed to be sweet and hot. Maybe I was being too harsh on my own sweet and hot, but this has a very mild spicy and a very mild sweet as well. And not to mention, this has absolute zero smoke flavor when you put it up next to mine. Mine does. So the winner in today's video, by the most biased judge there ever has been, is me. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a great night, day, whatever time it is when you found this video. As always, I'll see you in my next beef jerky.